It's almost a controversial topic. There is a lot of discourse over on TikTok about the quality of clothing. Let's check out the good, the bad, and the ugly and see if we agree with it or not.
You know who I'm thankful for? I'm thankful for the girls who started telling us to read our product labels on the clothes that we buy so that when we're spending money, we understand what we're buying. I'm thankful for you because now every time I go to spend money on something, I'm like, is it worth my time?
Well, we did a whole video on it a few weeks ago. Yes, oftentimes people prefer natural materials. I've seen your comments as well. But it doesn't always mean that natural is good clothing or synthetic clothes are bad. Also kind of what you're gonna use them for, what your preferences are.
Do I like the design of it or is the quality actually good? And so now everything that's super expensive, I'm reading it down and I'm like, why is this 100% polyester and you're charging me $150?
Online, it's often portrayed like all natural clothes are good quality and all synthetic clothes are bad quality, which is not that simple, and you can't really tell if a garment is good quality just because it's entirely made of cotton or wool. It can still be low quality material, it can still be low quality construction or poor construction, it can be mistakes, it can be a bad fit, it might fade quickly. So there's a lot of things to take into account, and unfortunately you can't always completely see before buying what's going to be the longevity of a garment, for example. Yes, it's good to check out the labels, even I do it. And 100% polyester can be a little uncomfortable to wear. So okay, out of a polyester outfit at the moment. Actually, I am quite hot at the moment, which was great for winter, but we're moving out of winter, so I might move to different quality clothes.
100% cotton isn't always good quality. You might wonder why your 100% cotton shirt from Zara or H&M hasn't held up in the wash. So here are 2 reasons your cotton fabric could be low quality. The first is fiber length, and bear with me on this explanation. Fast fashion often uses low quality cotton made with shorter fibers. Basically, fabric is made by connecting a bunch of fibers together, so using shorter fibers creates more exposed ends. And having more of these exposed ends creates rougher feeling fabric and more pilling. High quality cotton has longer fibers with fewer exposed ends, so it'll feel way smoother and be less likely to pill. You'll see brands advertise that they use Pima cotton or long staple cotton as a sign of quality.
Hallelujah. This is actually, I really like this video because it's nuanced. So yes, the quality of fabrics, not only cotton, but even like wool and other fibers is often graded in fiber length. So longer fibers indeed are usually more durable and the fabrics can be a little smoother. It's exactly what we talked about actually in the cotton versus polyester video.
Second is the fabric density. Low quality cotton can be less tightly knit or woven. And you can test the density by putting your shirt up to the light. If a bunch of light shines through, it might be lower quality. A denser fabric will be more opaque. There is more nuance for lightweight fabric that's designed to be more sheer, so take this test with a grain of salt.
This is what I mean. Sometimes you have to go back in later and even nuance yourself a little bit. Oh my god, so meta. Sometimes it's intentional that the cotton is really thin. It's very nice to wear, actually, these really thin cottons, I think. And yeah, they might be a little less durable. You gotta take care of it with extra special care.
I'm not going to gatekeep this brand because I'm always asked to recommend something and I hate everything. I'm joking, I don't. I just think most brands need to live up to this. Shirts that aren't see-through. This is linen. It's beautifully soft 126 GSM.
GSM is grams per square meter.
And this is a weave, so slightly thinner. A linen look with cotton. And then this is hemp. 125 and 166 GSM respectively.
Again, about the density of the fabric. Yeah, often it is used to cut costs. Most of the time you don't want this to be see-through, so it's not really a very intentional choice. I guess there's something to say about not buying stuff online, but going to the store and you can see it for yourself, right? Because on a picture online, it's often very hard to see these kind of nuances.
None of these shirts have any synthetic blend in it, and all of them are around the £100 price point. More than that, all their buttons are biodegradable. This is made from river shell. I even asked if it was coated in plastic and they said no. These are made from Corozos.
Well guys, I thought that was interesting. I've been trying to find those mysterious buttons made of chorizo online, but after an hour of not finding any buttons made of sausages, I definitely think I heard that wrong. I guess it was too good to be true. But let me know what you think she's saying.
Made from Corozos, so also biodegradable. And they also use mother of pearl shell for their silk shirts, which is so pretty, so premium.
Biodegradable buttons of shell. This is probably how buttons were always made before the invention of plastic, right? I guess it's not even that expensive, but like a lot more environmentally friendly.
I want to have a quick discussion about quality of clothes and fashion and how quality is actually more subjective than you think. When you want to start making conscious wardrobe choices and purchases, you need to decide what quality means to you. For example, if you go buy a high quality polyester or viscose dress or pants compared to that high quality 100% cotton skirt or pants, it does not mean that the cotton will last you longer than the polyester pants.
Wow, on TikTok it gets really quickly black and white and you should wear all cotton and you'll be fine and your clothes will last forever, and a lot of untruths are being sort of slipping through when influencers are sort of trying to teach you all these clothing quality hacks. But I am actually so surprised that the first few videos I bumped into on TikTok are actually with this much nuance. This was actually what I tried to predict as well. Predict? I don't know what I want to say.
However, cotton is a more desirable material, it's a healthier material. The cotton, for example, doesn't mean that it's less harmful to the environment because it depends on the type of cotton.
I almost thought there weren't these kind of videos on TikTok because there's nuance and I love it.
The polyester could be better for the environment than the cotton that you're using. There's cotton that comes from certain places in India that is causing great harm to the people in the villages that live them, disabilities, contaminating the water. It depends. People also like to compare quality not also to durability, but weight of the fabric. Just because one fabric weighs a lot more does not mean it's better quality in the fabric that weighs less.
I totally agree, like the weight of a garment is just one thing, one of the qualities, right? How I like to look at quality is not only as in good quality, bad quality, but quality is more as a characteristic.
For example, this is a really light fabric. Everyone knows these tops from Intimissimi, but the quality is great if you treat it nice. I sweat a lot in my Intimissimi because of the cashmere, okay, and I wear them in winter. So I boil these in the wash because you need to wash above 30 degrees to get rid of the odor.
Getting a little confused there. I'm like, she's boiling her clothes. Like, you don't have to choose between boiling your clothes and washing on 30 degrees. Not a good idea.
So I've completely ruined my old versions. They're like peeled to death.
Surprise, surprise! I only realized later that she's talking about cashmere. I'm sorry, she's boiling her wool clothes. Someone call the fashion police. I think everybody knows you should wash wool on coal or otherwise. There's also disinfecting detergents that you can use. I use them sometimes to disinfect the clothes and still be able to wash it on a cold cycle.
2 very boring minutes later.
Stretching. As I said, I love boiling my clothes and there's no pilling. They've held up. The color still looks good on this one.
To me, it really looks like the black has faded significantly. Boiling your clothes all the time is evil and not even necessary. Even if you wash at 60 degrees, you kill most of the bacteria anyway. By the way, it's often left out of the equation, but it's thought that up to 2/3 of the ecological footprint of a garment is happening after you buy the item. It's not only costing a lot of energy, but also reduces the lifespan of your clothing significantly.
Inside out. Before you buy it, or if you online shop, get it at home, turn it inside out before you fall in love with it. Because if you hired a professional cleaner, organizer to like clean your house and they did the work, you got home, and then you just realized they shoved everything into the attic, would you be okay with that? Like, I hope not. But it's the same concept with apparel. A lot of times you can hide bad construction on the inside of garments. So if you turn something inside out, it's usually very, very clear if it's made well or not. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I have a very cheap t-shirt here from Target. It's their Wild Fable brand. Instantly, when I look at this t-shirt, given the retail was like $5, right? And I think I got it for 50 cents at the bins. Instantly, my eye goes to the inside. What you can see from the outside is the collar. Do you see how they attach that?
Okay, I think a lot of people actually might guess what's going on here. Could you guess it? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's this sort of, normally that's covered, right, on the back. The seam is covered, at least on the part where you look into the garment. And then often under that, I think the label is sewn in.
And the seam does not lay flat. Versus this Billie Eilish merch I just got, they used a bias tape. So that seam lays completely flat, it will not irritate the back of your neck, looks really clean, is the best way to finish that seam. Or I have this other Target hoodie here. I think this is from a New Day brand. Same thing here. They did not use any type of bias tape on that collar seam, but it's at least laying flat because you can see they top stitched it. So that seam isn't as irritating on the back of your neck. Check out this H&M sweatshirt. It is very happy to see me here. It's just one more step for them to do that top stitching so it lays flat, but they're making it as cheap as possible.
I was a little bit slow to understand this one.
Sleeves, sleeve opening hem. It's super clear, just turning them inside out. Are they finished cleanly? This little pajama top here, I was pretty happy with. So the way they finished this one is a double rolled hem. So that raw edge is completely encased in here and it's sewn pretty straight. That's what I want to see. Or if you have a single turned hem where you can see the raw edge, I'm looking for consistency. Is the raw edge peeking out? Is it wavy? Can you see how they cut the fabric? Untrimmed threads are another big one for me. Again, something that's either there or it's not. You can see a bunch of untrimmed threads or a bunch of like bundles of threads that got stuck onto the garment. It should be a turnoff for you because it's just lazy craftsmanship.
Yeah, but also I feel like we should try to watch out for calling things lazy craftsmanship when the workers in the manufacturing facilities are actually working their ass off to provide this clothing to us and are often paid per piece they sew, which means that often to earn a slightly livable wage, they're forced to extremely rush the sewing. Quite the opposite of lazy.
Last thing I want to talk about, because I could make this a 5,000 part series, is going to be the quality of the stitching. Is the stitching consistent? Is the stitch length consistent? Is the tension consistent? You can see on this pocket how it wasn't, and that's a machine problem.
Okay. Yeah, I had to cut a few things out as this video was very long. You can say a lot, but they don't take buying a t-shirt lightly, I would say. But I guess as someone who is a apparel designer, yeah, you have a little bit of a different eye than the regular consumer. Should we all scrutinize every t-shirt we buy in this way, look at the inside and look if every stitch has the same length on the left as well as on the right, as well as on the bottom of the I don't know. Personally, I don't do this when I buy a t-shirt. A loose thread or a slightly uneven stitch at the pocket of the t-shirt doesn't necessarily mean it's gotta fall apart after 2 washes. I don't know if that's really necessary. To be honest, I don't think it's necessary. I buy a t-shirt usually more as sort of a casual thing to wear anyway. Only if you want to. If you really want to have the best quality stitching, you might want to look out for it. Let me know. Are you gonna turn your clothes inside out?
There's an entire generation of consumers at this point that doesn't know what high quality clothing feels like and looks like. This is what aspiring fashion historian and lingerie expert Cora Harrington was quoted saying in a Vox article 2 days ago, and I'd like to address it. The clothes and just like things we surround ourselves in life are not made the same way they used to be. Obviously, this is like kind of a broad generalization, but I'm not even talking about like 1950s, 60s. I'm talking about just 10 years ago.
Yeah, I guess this is actually true. I mean, I used to be a little bit in denial of this, I guess. But I've been not really buying fast fashion anymore for years. When so many people were complaining about the quality of clothes, I always thought, yeah, well, I don't know. I actually think fast fashion is quite alright. But that's because when I was young, I think the quality was actually better. Energy, labor, materials, the price of eggs and everything getting more and more expensive, and clothing has gotten less expensive in the last 10 years. How can the price go down? One of the big reasons is production being extremely rushed, materials being made even cheaper. Difficult topic, but yeah, I guess clothing sucks now. Some of it.
Fast fashion right now is like really hated, and there's probably a lot of good reasons for that, but a lot of rebuttals I've seen are like people saying that their fast fashion shirt, their fast fashion pants or whatever from like 10 years ago has gone through a bajillion washes and it's still around today. And that's great, like that's amazing. But the thing is, those pieces from 10 years ago are not being made the same way that they are today. The production techniques and like fabric choices from that time was...
Yeah, I touched upon this in my big overview of cotton versus polyester. I touched upon almost everything in this video, so check it out.
Design processes across technology, appliances, clothing, everything have gotten faster to meet consumer desires faster every single year, and this requires shortcuts to be made in every single step of the process. For clothes, the area that I care about, it means we're seeing more clothing with fewer and messier stitches that fall apart in fewer washes. It also means the boom of synthetic materials in clothes. Synthetic materials have plenty of great uses, but they're also cheaper, plastic, and have made the clothing industry one of the biggest carbon polluters in the world. To combat this, I have one ask of you, and that is to shop with intention. The first step to shopping with intention is starting to learn what quality looks like and feels like. Quality clothes are more often than not made in USA, Italy, Japan, or basically places where labor is more expensive.
346 minutes later.
Bombastic side-eye.
I guess we kind of know now that even a lot of very expensive brands have a large part of their manufacturing in Asian countries, guys. It's better quality clothing is made in China now, and it might have a USA or an Italy label when it's finished in Italy. If you produce belts, for example, and you do the last step in Italy, put the holes in the belt and put a buckle on it or something, this might be enough to call it made in Italy. Just because something is made in China doesn't mean it's bad. Like, they make one of the best electrical vehicles now, right? If it ever was true, I think this information is a little bit outdated, that the country where it's manufactured is sort of indicative of quality.
Quality clothes are also often made with more natural fibers like cotton, wool, silk, cashmere, etc. Not only will these materials last longer, but natural materials will keep you substantially warmer than almost anything synthetic.
This video is going downhill for me quite quickly. It really depends on what kind of garment, but for example, a polyester shirt is often perceived as a lot hotter because it's a little bit less breathable than a cotton shirt. And actually, natural materials don't last longer, really. Synthetic clothes are made out of types of plastic. This is a huge problem because plastic doesn't degrade. However, it means that a lot of these fabrics are actually really durable. Oh, this guy looks so happy.
99% of the shopper doesn't know the secret. When the fabric beneath the collar is smaller than the fabric above the collar, when they are sewn together, the smaller fabric beneath will naturally hold the bigger fabric above down. In comparison, let's look at this one. This one is brand new in the shop. As you can see, before you even wear it or wash it, that collar is already flipping up. Why? It must be because the fabric above and beneath are the same size. Now let's flip and look at it. Here you can see there's only one edge along the collar, which means the two fabrics are the same size. That's why structurally the collars are not going to be naturally curved downwards.
So I don't have extensive pattern drawing knowledge, but I do remember my pattern drawing teacher actually emphasizing this, that the bottom collar has to be smaller. Just chop a little piece off, I guess, at the outer rim so that it holds the collar down.
Now let's look at a good example. This one, the collar naturally laid down. Let's check the detail, flip it up. Along the edge, you can see two edges, which means the fabric beneath is smaller than the fabric above. So it can naturally hold the collar down. This one is good.
And the collar has to have a good shape, a good round shape. Sometimes a collar is drawn too straight and it's gonna be also giving problems with the fit.
If your jeans bunch at knees like this happens a lot when you wear skinny and straight leg jeans. There is a perfect formula for this problem, which is around 90% cotton, around 5% polyester, and 2 to 5% spandex. 100% natural fiber like cotton have bad elasticity. If you stretch them for a long time, they won't return to their original shape. So if you bend your knees and sit in your chair the whole day, the pressure from the knee will easily deform the jeans, and that deformation will stay and leave an ugly bulge. Spandex is stretchy, it can expand, but spandex is not good at returning to its original shape after it's expanded. A little bit polyester helps the spandex to return to its original shape. So if you like to wear skinny to straight leg jeans and you don't want that problem, this is the right answer. Remember this formula.
I haven't really worn any skinny jeans in a long time. Let me know, is this a problem you run into? Yeah, I guess with the knees. Might be true to that, because polyester is very strong and it's known for really being able to hold its shape very well, and natural materials are a little more easily losing shape over time. However, spandex is this sort of elastic material. They put always a very small percentage into sometimes t-shirts or skinny jeans, anything that needs a little bit of stretch, and that's a plastic as well, and I believe this will not age very well. It's just like any elastic, you know, after a while, when it gets older and it stretches out, it doesn't stretch back, it degrades. I just prefer jeans to be 100% cotton because I love the non-stretch look, but if you want to wear skinny jeans, of course you need some stretch.
This is a good template of a deformation-resistant neckline. This stretch rip at the neckline is easy to be deformed when you machine wash it. Here you can see two stitching lines. Compared to one stitching line, it can better reinforce the neckline. If you can find 3 stitching lines, It is more complex to do so than 1 or 2 stitching lines, and it is the most expensive. But it is the strongest for the neckline, and the one that's least likely to be deformed. Even after a long period of frequent washing, stretching, wearing, the neckline will still hold its shape. This is back neck binding, which also reinforces the neckline and prevents it from deforming. Put this in a wash bag. When you machine wash it, it won't deform for a very, very long time and still remain in good shape.
Didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know. I might wear my t-shirts a little bit washed out. I feel like a lot of these problems I don't have, but maybe I'm just not paying attention to it.
Well, Zara, let's check this jean. These little buttons help to reinforce the corners, which are the areas that are prone to wear and tear. Make sure to look for jeans that have this difference. This difference leaves room for your butt.
I never see pants where it's not done like that, unless it's like a sweatpants or something. I know I have critique on everything today. It's not because I think these people don't know what they're talking about or I don't agree, but in my opinion, some of these tips get a little bit into the territory of overcomplicating things. You have to look out for so many things. When in reality, I literally have never ever seen a jeans, for example, that's not lower in the front than in the back.
This difference here at the crotch needs to be at least 2 fingers. You can see here, there's only not even 1 finger. If it's less than 2 fingers, not gonna be comfortable around your crotch.
I think it also kind of depends, how much room you need to accommodate your bum. Have a really flat bum, you need less width in the back, right? I feel like it's this thing, what do they say again with jeans? Like, hold the jeans against your underarm and you will know if it will fit you. If you went to the store, then also just put it on and you will know.
The ones that have this yoke line help to lift your butt and make your butt look more snatched. This one is pretty good. The pocket opening line, these 2 lines are also parallel to this line. Also helps make your butt look snatched. And then check the belt loop. Look, the belt loop here, this one, it doesn't tuck in. The good ones are tucked in. So if it's not tucked in, it's easier to be torn apart. And in my opinion, the tucked in ones look better. Check the pocket fabric. The better the fabric is 100% cotton, high density, but this one have polyester mixed in it. So when there's polyester mixed in the pocket fabric, it's gonna be easy to get link balls.
I don't know if it's necessary to focus that much on the inside of the clothing, but no, I wouldn't say that's a problem. Polyester mixed in the pockets, I think it might be actually making it stronger. This video I think mostly inspired me to also dive in on the quality discussion. I'm gonna show a stitch after.
3 high-end designers that are poor quality. Before I dive into these designers and why they're poor quality, I want to first just say that I'm sorry to the designers because I do love all of their works. That being said, they're poor quality and I feel that the masses need to know. Now, onto the truth. Coming in at number 1, we have Rick Owens, and I know I love Rick too, okay? But since 2017, when he switched manufacturers to, appeal to the larger masses, he also went down in quality. He just started mass producing and the quality just totally went to shit. Now I'm stuck here between a rock and a hard place because I love Rick, but I just can't invest in his pieces because they rip, they pill, they're so sheer and thin that if you even wear them...
This video discussing quality and luxury fashion came across my For You page and I really don't agree with what the creators say. She's of course entitled to her opinion, but I'm a Rick collector and she's saying that Rick is really poor quality and I just do not agree. I thought I would take this opportunity as a Rick stan to do a little bit of educating around the product itself. The original creator says that Rick basics are really poorly made, they fall apart in the wash, they pill, they rip, they fray, but I could not disagree more. The hem of the tank top is unfinished and that's because the fraying is intentional. Over time, Rick tank tops start to get this effect at the bottom. That is part of the ethos of the brand. Rick fans want their t-shirts to look like this. This is just an old Hanes t-shirt. I'm just using it to prove a point, okay? All of the tank tops and t-shirts are constructed in a very, very fine cotton, and the finishing on them is quite delicate and impeccable. I've had this tank top for 4 or 5 years now, and it looks exactly the same as the day I bought it.
thought it was interesting to see how two people have totally different sort of view on what quality of clothing means. I will insert some prices here, but it's a very high-end fashion. Thin material doesn't mean it's bad quality. It's intended to be very fine and soft, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. Very comfortable and nice to wear.
Even in high pressure areas like the armpits, there's no fraying. The texture on the cotton itself, that's not pilling, that's because it's a slub cotton. It's a more organic and irregular fiber, so you get these little pills.
It's an aesthetic that they're going for. It's not as much quality problem. It doesn't always mean it has to be the most durable. I also found out on their website they're incredibly specific and transparent about the choice of fabric. For example, this heavyweight 16 OZ denim is woven in Ebara City, Okayama Prefecture in Japan by Yamaashi Orimono, established 1945. Vintage Sakamoto shuttle looms using natural warp and natural weft yarn with red line selvage detail. The color of this denim is natural with visible slubs and impurities, natural to the cotton fiber.
Wow.
It could be me, but it doesn't seem like they're taking the material sourcing very lightly.
Creator of that video also said that Rick changed manufacturers in 2017 to appeal to the masses and supposedly cut costs. Rick changed manufacturers so that he could have more control over the manufacturing process. The whole ethos of Rick's brand is that you buy one thing and wear it until it falls apart.
To be honest, I'm quite surprised that people spending that much money on Rick Owens clothing are then coming to that conclusion.
The beauty of fashion is that everyone's allowed to have an opinion on it because it's a creative industry. But if you're going to remark on something like quality that is a very tangible and measurable thing, I would maybe just do like a tad more research before coming on this app and generalizing about every collection that a brand has ever made. There are plenty of designer brands out there that have quality issues. Rick Owens is very much not one of them.
What I think, Rick Owens is still also an independent brand. Like, they're not owned by LVMH or Kering or some other sort of investment company. And I feel like it's actually one of the more authentic brands on the market we have now. So they don't have sort of this upper sort of push from investors to make more money, make more money, make more money, grow, cut costs.
You get the idea.
Was that interesting to watch, guys? Let me know if I should make another video like this. So let me know what you agree with and what not. Also, I forgot it all today, so thank you to my Patreon. Please like the video or leave a comment to support it in the algorithm. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I know you all already did this, but please turn the bell notifications on under the subscribe button, so you will actually get to see my new videos. Thank you. I hope to see you in my next video.